Welcome to TYT Sports, everybody. Francis and Jason. Francis, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
You're doing great?
I'm glad to be talking to you.
Good. I don't think I've ever asked you how you were doing in the
smiling.
beginning of the clip.
I don't know why I'm
Just be
smiling.
happy. Be happy.
I'm really happy.
Good. Okay. So let's begin because we're going to start with some NBA content on the show today. Mavericks and Clippers played last night, and I like the newfound Clippers way of making new rivalries with teams. It was always kind of with the Golden State Warriors, and now kind of in a way with the Memphis Grizzlies because, I'm sorry, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Dallas Mavericks, because of DeAndre Jordan. Why can't I speak today? Who knows? DeAndre Jordan and Mark Cuban and the whole, locking himself in the house, and he was going to go play for the Mavericks, and he ends up playing for the Clippers. Well, ESPN did a great job. They trolled the hell out of Mark Cuban and the Mavericks.
Clippers Mavs at 8, Spurs Blazers at 10:30, Wednesday on ESPN and streaming live.
And this isn't the first time that these two teams have met. They played last week in Los Angeles, and of course, they trolled them in their own right there as well with the kiss cam. Take a look at this.
Okay, fans, pucker up. It's time for the Barry's Tickets Kiss Cam.
It's a fun story when we first ran it. I love the whole emojis that were basically saying they were coming to his rescue to help him.
Yes.
And the Clippers do a kind of fun job, and the media helps them as well, obviously, of creating these fun little rivalries. I know with Golden State, it had a little bit more context than the story with DeAndre Jordan, who are basically the media twisted it so that it sounded like Doc Rivers was saying they got lucky.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this, this is a great job of them turning something really funny and putting it on. And I was surprised that when you told me about it, I thought it was like a fan-made video, because that's exactly what it is. It's ESPN who actually ran it, which is awesome.
Yeah, we'll show some creativity from ESPN side of things. And I like when, if you're going to make a big show of anything, might as well get trolled every now and again.
Exactly.
When I look at at least a team like the Clippers, who have a lot of personalities in their teams. A big thing also with the Clippers is they're not the most promoted team in the NBA, but their players are probably the most seen in terms of sponsorships. Chris Paul has the National Bureau of Assist commercials, and Cliff Paul, I should say. Blake Griffin's in, I think, Kia commercials. He's in just about every commercial with him jumping off the ground and dunking basketballs. Not DeAndre, but between those two, you see those two faces as much as you'd see LeBron James. And
what I think the NBA has done so well, and I'm talking about this from a marketing perspective, is that they make a lot of these athletes so personable, so funny. I think the NFL does it as well. I think the Bose commercials are really good, what they do with Macklemore and Russell Wilson. But they basically created a character of Steph Curry. Steph Curry is in everything, but they created, we know Steph Curry is very personable, but once he came into that status as one of if not the best NBA player, they definitely built on that, and they did the whole commercial with his dad. You might be good, but you're not sitting in my seat. It's really funny, and they have a great job of creating humor around this. And I think the Spurs recently ran one, which was hilarious in their own right, because as you should, I don't want to talk about it. You can see it first, and then we'll talk. Roll the tape.
Any question before we make jalapeno poppers?
Why is the Marcus dressed like that?
Jalapenos are spicy, man. Gotta protect.
Why do they take so long to make?
Paris was not built in a day.
That was wrong.
Whatever.
Can I use my own knife?
No.
My oven mitt's too small.
That's not a question.
Why don't we just buy H-E-B jalapeno poppers? They're made by hand with cream cheese and thick sliced original bacon.
That sign doesn't say cooking with Timmy.
H-E-B Jalapeno Poppers. We make them so you don't have to.
H-E-B, so the H-E-B commercials they started last season. Actually, it might have been 2 seasons ago. It's a supermarket in the Texas area. We have Ralph's.
Great jalapeno poppers.
I guess they must have fantastic jalapeno poppers. But it shows, considering the Spurs are not, look, if I'm going to use Cenk Uyghur's words. If you don't like watching the Spurs, you don't like basketball, just because it's such a fluid game of passing. But you're not going to see guys dunking all over the NBA. You're not going to see the most, it's not a fireworks show when you watch them play. It's just a fluid game of basketball. Therefore, it's great to see how personal that whole team is, and obviously the sense of humor between, not just from the commercial, in everyday life, because recently there was an NBA interview with Tim Duncan, in which he's sitting right next to Danny Green, their sharpshooting three-point guy who lit it up in 2014 NBA Finals and is struggling to begin the season from three so far, but he'll find his stroke. He's sitting right next to Duncan, and they're asking him, what is with the youth on this team? How are they growing into the system? What do you expect? And he's highlighting guys like Kawhi Leonard, who's off to an amazing start both offensively and defensively. And then he gets to, and he's like, truthfully, really, if Danny Green would stop sucking. And then Green didn't even respond to it. I don't even think he heard it. And then Tim kind of laughs to himself and then just keeps going with the interview.
Yeah, and
it's amazing.
And that is true about it. It's like you just said in the commercial, it just seems like that was effortless for them because they have got that camaraderie. Because much as they've added outstanding talent like LaMarcus Aldridge this year, they still stick with the core of what has served them so well going back to the 2014 finals. Even before that, they've stuck to the core. Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and then when you say this season, Kawhi Leonard, I've always been a huge fan of Kawhi Leonard. Defensively, he seems like he's the hardest guy to play against. Like he seems just he's so difficult to play against, and he's got obviously the offensive firepower that we've seen this season. But I do like watching the Spurs because it's not like there's one sole figure who's going to steal the show. And obviously from that attraction to watching Cleveland with LeBron James and obviously Golden State with Steph Curry, that is that value that comes with it. You want to see how they'll light up the game. When you bring together so many people with different playing styles, guys coming from Argentina, I think now Ginobili, he's been in the league for so long, it's obvious that he's adapted to that. But then you get guys like everyone else who comes in to try and formate that correct system. That working system. It takes work to do that, and I think that's credit to Popovich as well because he's been at the forefront of this.
What do you think of the Mavericks, the Clippers, and the love story? It's really like a love triangle between the Mavericks, the Clippers, and now the Golden State Warriors with all the rivalries. I kind of love it. And of course, the Spurs' new commercials and what to look forward to with Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green and the new look Spurs and everything else. Like, favorite, subscribe, all the good stuff. Follow Francis at Francis_Maxwell, myself at JasonRuben91, and TYT Sports on Twitter as well.